In Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, Alice fell down the rabbit hole and emerged in a world where reality had been altered. Wild changes in her relative size, as well as dramatic shifts in power and control away from herself as a privileged child and toward those she had assumed were powerless. Just like the rabbits, kings, and queens in a pack of playing cards, radically altered her perceptions of her experiences. After graduating my undergraduate degree, it was a lot like my experience in entering a wonderland. Many of my assumed realities were shifted or even distorted, particularly the role I played as an educator engaging interactively with young people. Many of these issues centered upon the aspects of power and control. What I gradually realized was that learning is closely related to self-efficiency, and learners needed to free from my autonomy and encouraged to take responsibility for their own learning. In Carol's later book, Alice in Looking Glass, when she passed through the mirror, she was drastically re-challenged, finding her own identity this time. Alice was put into a world full of social upheaval and political satire. It shifted the first book setup, where in reality were changed from time to time, and that experiences were different from previous one. Before I proceed, let me ask these questions. Did any one of you experience being in a situation wherein reality was shifted into a series of changes and unexpected outcomes? The one that we planned did not much have a better result, or the one that we expected to happen did not happen. This situation results to a more challenging outcomes that might utilize our patience, strength, resources, values in life, and others. It leads us to what we call Pakigbisog. Pakigbisog is an all-time Cebuano word for struggle. In other contexts, it means an earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. Some define it as an energetic attempt to achieve an outcome. Every day, we are constantly bombarded with a lot of struggles in our life. Like Alice, we had been into a constant battle of changes in reality, a shift of a day-to-day experience. Let me share you this experience that I had a few years ago. I was on my first year of service, being a college instructor of a private tertiary institution. I was armed with full of philosophies, principles, theories that I wanted to solidify, apply, or even validate through real scenario. I was like one of the most strict instructor on said school. I brought with me the culture of how my professors taught us during our college years. What I failed to realize was that I'd been so harsh to the extent that I failed to consider the situation of my students. There was one time in one of my class in Rizal, one of my students did not perform well. He's always absent, did not pass assignments, and even had a low scores in examinations. I even called his attention and scolded him for not performing well. As a result, I marked him incomplete or INC at the end of the semester because of that underperformance. Days, weeks, months had passed, and the students messaged me that he wanted to comply the INC by completing all the requirements. After the series of completion of his needed activities, I'd mark him 75. Tres. That's the least that I can give for a very low performance in class. After signing his INC form, he even thanked me because I was the first one among the instructors whom he asked to comply his INC. He even said, "Sir, salamat kaayo. Makagraduate na jud ko. Sir, thank you so much. Finally, I will graduate." I just smiled and said, "Maayo, good." What I did not realize was that by simply answering that statement, I made a transformation of his life. After his graduation, he applied in a cruise ship, and luckily, he was selected among the different applicants, or a lot of applicants. For over few years of being employed on said job, we all shocked to hear that he's performing well with his current job. At present, he's now earning dollars compared to his classmates who performed better than him when he was in his undergraduate degree. The student whom he branded as underperforming are really doing well in life. His family was in a very stable condition now, and he can even buy expensive or luxury items through his effort to gain enough salary for his family, and even tour around the world and visit many places. Like Alice, being in a different realities, the world we are living was a stage full of shifting spaces. The pakigbisog that we encounter every day became part of how we transform the realities of our past and turn it into a magnanimous, successful one. The struggle that we harder are just temporary. Later, we will realize that all the challenges that we are into are just part of what we call as history. Pakigbisog is just a term that we must embody but it gives us strength to transform our different realities at present. All we have to do is face it, like Alice in Wonderland and in Looking Glass. The more she hurdled the struggle, the stronger she was through time. The moment we step out in our doors, that is the moment that life gives us a chance to change our reality. All that we need is to believe in ourselves and handle the pakigbisog for tomorrow's success. It may take a very long process, but I believe it's always possible. Thank you, and God bless us all.